place, keep it open, do all the sacrifices needed for donations and giving their time and their efforts and their energy to prepare everything for us. Please give a loud salawat for them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And also, we want to remember all of our shuhada uh, who put out all of their efforts. Shaheed Rahbar, Shaheed uh, uh, General Qasim, Shaheed Sayyid Nasrullah, and all of the rest of the shuhada wherever they are in the world, and also our own Shaheed of this country, Hajj Malika Shabazz. Please give a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And of course, we want to thank and remember the master of our time, Imam Zaman, Ajalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. Please give salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وجعلناهم أئمة يهدون بأمرنا وأوحينا إليهم فعل الخيرات وإقام الصلاة وآتينا زكاة وكانوا لنا عابدين. And we made them imams to guide by our command, and we inspired them with righteous actions and establishing prayer and giving charity, and they were worshipers of us. As we have been going through that, the Imam is completing the mission of the Prophet, teaching us to be people who also are doing our roles in completing the mission of the Prophet, and that this is something which is a continuing role for the Imam, and it's a continuing role for the believers. Now, this verse here, which we just read, hits on many of the points which we have covered, which is that one is that this word Imam, as we have noticed, comes 12 times in various forms in the Quran. Sometimes in the word Imam, sometimes in the word A'imma, sometimes in the word of a book, which is a guidance and a light, sometimes in the meaning of a leader, and a couple of times in the meaning of a negative leader. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةَ كُفْرٍ يَهْدُونَ إِلَى النَّارِ. And we made some of them leaders, calling leaders of disbelief, calling them to fire. Or وَقَاتِلُوا أَئِمَّةُ الْكُفْرِ, and fight the imams of kufr. They have no truth in them. So this word imam is not always used in the positive sense, but in this case, when it's associated with prophets, it's used in a positive sense. And this is something which Allah establishes, that an imam, a divine authority, is someone who Allah establishes. And this makes sense according to the sunnah. So we see that this is a sunnah which the Prophet Allah always establishes, that the imam is not from the time of Adam, that we made them khalifa. And then also Allah uses the word istafa, it means he chooses of their children, certain ones of their children. Then it makes it more clear with the imamat of Hazrat Ibrahim, that he says, Wamin zurriyati, you're going to have imams from my children. And he says, in ahdi la yanala zalimin, that surely my promise, this covenant, which they mention in extensively in the Bible. It's mentioned in the Quran, but for some reason Muslims don't pay attention that there's a covenant of Ibrahim, that imamat and nabuwat are going to continue in his lineage until Yawm al-Qiyamah. This is at the time of the Prophet. It was one of those things which was well known. Like Even if no one talks about it, everybody knows that it's true. So it's like Imam Mahdi for the Muslims. All the Muslims know that there's Imam Mahdi, whether you talk about it or don't talk about it. All the Muslims know that there's going to be Dajjal. Everybody knows that there's going to be a return of Isa. It's just common knowledge. So sometimes people ask, well, why aren't they mentioning it tikraran wa miraran, the covenant of Ibrahim, which shall last until Yawm al-Qiyamah? Because that had already been an established fact at that time. The people like the Bani Umayyah tried to wipe that, and that's why the Muslims don't know that it was an established fact. And they also tried to wipe that it was something which Allah decrees, not something which the people do. So these two facts, which were known like someone knew in the back of his hand, that the children of Israel, Ibrahim, the physical children and also the spiritual children were going to be the warithin. And from the zuriyat of Ibrahim, from the descendants of Ibrahim, were going to be the imams, which Allah had chosen up. It's in the Bible and things like that too. And you can also tell when things are mawdu and ghayr mawdu, meaning if it's placed or not placed, if it doesn't benefit anyone, especially not benefiting the people at the time. So the story of the imams from the lineage of Ismail didn't benefit the people who were the ashab of the Torah. So the people hamilin Torah, the people carrying the Torah, why would there be a story about imams, Ithna Ashara Imam, from the Zuriyat of Ismail when they weren't the Zuriyat of Ismail? Why would there be such emphasis that it's going to continue till the last day about someone other than themselves? So the fact that they're giving testimony to something that is not in their benefit shows that this must be from Allah, because people would tend to hide this type of information. They do try to make it mushawwash. They do try to make it confused. And they do it in a subtle way, changing the order of some of the ayat to make it appear as if Ishaq had fathered over Ismail, but they just changed the order of some of their verses speaking on this. And Allah is making a ishara, a signal to this, that we made them imams who guided by our command. What's the difference with a Nabi and an Imam? No, that he has possession of the community, he's guiding the community, he's not just giving them anba and information, naba. He's not giving them just news, he's actually controlling and ruling the society. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ فِعْلَ الْخَيْرَاتِ. That part of the Imam's job is that he does righteous actions. It's not just mulk for the sake of mulk, like the tyrants assume. That this prophet has the authority just to do with it whatever he wishes. وَإِقَامَ الصَّلَاةِ وَإِيتَاءَ الزَّكَاةِ وَكَانُوا لَنَا عَابِدِينَ. That the job of the Imam is to give zakat. The job of the Imam is to not just pray, but establish prayer in such a way that other people are doing it and that becomes a part of your society. And to do worship for us and establish these things. Many times when this whole bahth and research around the issue of wali al-faqih comes up, somehow people have the idea that there's a faqih and then you just have the dictatorship of the faqih. Instead of having a imam, you have a faqih and the faqih is the dictator. That's not actually how the system is. It's his job to do mudiriyat. The fuqaha's job of to do mudiriyat and guidance of the society. Similar to how an imam does. The same role as the imam had, the faqih has. The difference being that his is not mutlaq. He still has checks and balances. Meaning if the person is not doing fi'l khairat, he's not doing iqam as-salat, he's not knowledgeable about his affairs, he's not doing these things, he's not mutiyan li'amr mawla, this person is not someone you have to follow. So what if he's bad? Well, then you're not supposed to follow him. It says so in that. I always strange. Like people will be like, well, what if the faqih is bad? Yeah, then you're not supposed to follow him. That's the whole point. But if the faqih is good and you're doing i'tiraf that the faqih is good, you're like, yes, this guy, mashallah, he's good. He knows about his affairs. He's wise in his thing. He's knowledgeable about the religion. He's doing ibadat of Allah. He's mutiyan li amri mawla. All of the other ulama, all of the people who know say this guy's mukhlis and mutadayyin and alim and arif. And now this person who's alim and arif and mutadayyin and knowledgeable gives us an order? Then what's the point? If we're not going to listen to the person who knows, then why would we, like, what's the whole point of the exercise? If we only listen when we agree, then what's the point of the exercise? No, he gives, the whole point is that sometimes he will give us an order or make a suggestion to us that we don't agree with. It's not that he has to come and do each and everything. Sometimes this is another ishkal that they have. They say, mashallah, there was this one city in the far reaches of Baluchistan, or I don't know, Kyrgyzstan or something, and the wali faqih or the faqih in the area didn't order us to build, and we went and built. How is he now to give us order? First of all, the masjid is not your personal property. If you want personal property to not have any orders in it, build a house. And then you're the wali you're the sahib al-bayt, you're the wali, you lead the salat, you do the zakat, you do everything, it's your house. But when you put the name masjid on it, then now it becomes the property of Allah. That's like, as soon as you say this is a masjid and the mu'mineen are invited and we want to play and we're collecting donations and we're collecting khums and we're collecting zakat, then that means it's now the mulk of Allah. Like, why would I give you khums and zakat for your own house? You needed a place to stay? Maybe I could just give you sadaqah from myself. Oh, mashallah, there's a mu'min, he wants a place to stay and he plans to make salat in it. Okay, here's $100, mashallah. There you go. But if he says, no, this is for the mu'mineen, this is for the ummah, he goes and does this good action, then now it's the mulk of the imam. And the imam, and we don't have to wait. This is something important. We don't have to wait for the amr of the imam to do each and every khairat. If the imam and the Quran says, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ tabi'atan, naturally, we're supposed to build masajid. And if this place is a maqool place with reason, this is, all the mu'mineen say, yeah, this mashallah seems like a nice place. We don't have to say, well, I guess we can't do anything because Imam Zaman, Ajalullah Ta'ala for Fajr Sharif, didn't say to build a masjid here. So we're just going to sit outside with no masjid and no place to rally. This is not like, for these fi'l khairat, when they're do aqimus salat, wa atu zakat, wa ta'mur bil ma'ruf. You don't need an order from the imam every time somebody does something bad. Okay, well, I guess we can't do anything. Let's see if Imam Zaman has an order for us. Oh, wait, Imam Zaman said to stop this guy from stealing. Okay, mashallah, hey, stop. No, we're supposed to be representatives of the imam. If somebody steals, you say to, brother, that's a bad thing. If somebody is being stingy, you have extra money, mashallah, you should give in zakat. Somebody is giving in zakat, I should say, mashallah, that's a good thing that you did. Someone is saying, I'm thinking about, setting up a, food pantry for the homeless. You should encourage, this is the Amr bil Ma'ruf. Either you participate, you say, okay, here's some money, or let me volunteer my time, or you, at the very least, you say, mashallah, bahan, you go and do your thing. Congratulations, move forward. We don't need to sometimes people have this idea that somehow each and everything needs to be ordered by the imam or the local alim, or that if it starts and the imam didn't start it or the local alim didn't start it, then now they have no right to have anything to have some sort of say so about it. It's a kind of a misguided idea. If I build a masjid, the masjid is the sahib, the imam is the sahib of the masjid. In reality, because I said it's masjid. If it's house, it's house. I said, no, it's not house, it's masjid. I'm the one who said it's Husayni. I'm the one who said that. I said, okay, here's mashallah, we collect some money, we build a Husayn. If I wanted it to be mulk, then I would say, brothers, I have a Sheikh Faheem donation box. I need to build a farmhouse on my farm. You're like, what is it, for the community? No, it's just for my goats. I need some place to say, anybody who wants to donate to the GoFundMe to my goat farm, and you donate. After I have it, I take the money and you say, can I visit? Like, no, it's capitalism. socialism for me and capitalism for you. No, if I said that, then I'd let you know ahead of time. You know that after he built it, he can say, no, you can come, no, you can't come. But if he says it's Husayniyah, then he has to have the rules of the Husayniyah. So first of all, the Imam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the owner. He's the owner of all the earth, and especially when you make a place mushakhas for the zikr of Allah. That inna al-masajida lillah, right? Then the sahib of on the earth, the Khalifa of Allah on the earth is whom? Imam Mahdi ajalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And then he says that in the absence, then it's the ulama. And they're charged with the same thing that it just said that the imam is supposed to do. They're supposed to do fi'l khairat, they're supposed to do ita zakat, they're supposed to do this and they're supposed to do that. So if I do and I establish, and mashallah, the imam takes notice and sends us a representative, then we should appreciate that, mashallah, it came. I remember we used to be in sometimes we forget. In this country, we used to be like, yeah, latena, we had an alim. We used to be so happy, even the person, alim couldn't speak a word of English. The alim would come, he would give the speech, one of the brothers would do tarjuma for us, he would do a translation. So he's speaking in Urdu, and we were so starved for knowledge, the sheikh is speaking in Urdu, and one of the brothers who could speak Urdu or speak Arabic would translate. So he's giving a khutbah, the next one gives the translation right there in front of us. And we were like, it doesn't get any better than this. Then some were like, yeah, late. Some people were like, well, we can't really listen to this sheikh, like the people of the cow. We can't really listen. We need to have, late. We have a sheikh who could speak English. Allah would send us a sheikh who could speak English. No, we can't listen to him. Why? He has an accent. What's this? Get another sheikh. And have problem after problem after problem. Okay, why isn't he from my race? Someone from your race. Why isn't he from my street? Then finally he has everything perfect. Al-an ji'ta bil haqq. No. We have to be that when Allah sends us, and we sometimes we look at it on the little level, but we see this on the big level in the politics. The Muslims were like, we had someone who was strong and qawi and mutadayyan, right? They had Jamal Abdel Nasser. They said, no, he should be sheikh, not just strong and qawi and mutadayyan. Get Imam Khamenei. No, astaghfirullah, Imam Khomeini can't be. Why not? He can't be. He's strong, he's qawi, he has a big country, he's mutadayyan. They're like, he's Persian. May I see it? That doesn't count. Then they get Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah. No, it doesn't come. He's Shia. They get Abdul Malik Houthi. No, the country is poor. No, you're just not listening. We have to, this is on a big level. So sometimes we have to look at it on a big level to understand it on a small level. We can't make excuses when this comes. When the Imam comes, and this is the lesson from Imam Husayn, when the Imam comes, one of the things we have from the lesson of Imam Husayn, and we have the lesson from the first Khalifa, which is Adam alayhi salam. Allah always puts it in range that you can hit. When Allah sends a prophet, it's somehow in range, or an Imam in range that you can somehow hit. What I mean by this is, when Allah sent Hazrat Adam, he didn't have that Iblis didn't do any salats and didn't do any zakats and wasn't made of fire and didn't have these abilities, right? Because if it was like that, and then Hazrat Adam was even a bigger, angel than anybody, right? On the Zahir, right? Even though in the what's very interesting is in the batin, in the essentials, the atoms is what they make this infijar nawawi, this nuclear explosion from. It has more power than just just a few of them has so much power and explosive might in it. But it's not zahir. It just looks like it's a clump of dirt, right? So it didn't look like much on the surface. So they felt like what? I can reach to this, right? Felt like something I can hit. It's interesting that when the ayat which is talking about talking about wilayat, the al-yawm akmaltu lakum dinakum, a few ayats later it starts talking about hunting at Hajj. You're like, what does hunting at Hajj have to do with al-yawm akmaltu lakum dinakum and ghadirakum? It says a very interesting line that Allah is going to test you by sending you game that you can reach, that your spears and your arrows can reach. Meaning that it's not going to be that, oh yeah, I just believe and there's no imtihan and there's no test. No, it's going to be, you're going to be able to have some sort of excuse. When it's Amir al-Mu'mineen, you say, oh, well, we don't accept it. Why didn't you accept it? Oh, because he's younger than we are. Aba wastakbara. Why? Adam, oh, no, mashallah, we don't accept. Why don't you accept? Oh, well, because I'm fire and he's clay. But Allah said, no, I refuse. Amir al-Mu'mineen, oh, well, he's younger than me. Imam Hassan, no, this reason or that reason. Imam Husayn, no, this, well, because we don't like Amir al-Mu'mineen. They figure something to refuse the command of Allah. The same way as the people who just didn't want to listen. Oh, I don't accept this sheikh because he doesn't speak good English. I don't accept that sheikh because of this. I don't accept this sheikh because he's from that street. I don't accept this sheikh because he's from that street. I don't accept this sheikh who's my brother because no, I'm older than he. We'll trust us. We are very creative. We as human beings can think of a reason to not listen. We will think of something. Like I told you before, like the person he did all of this jihad and this and that and the other, went all the way to Iran, mashallah, and then he refused taqleed over there because of racism. Like all of this, you entered Islam to fight against racism and then came all the way and went right back out the same door. So, please give a salawat. Now, this action is always going to be with taqwa. We are not people who believe and then we think it's done. That's other people. That's the da'af that some of the Shias get into. The da'af that the Sunnis get into is they think that they can just do right actions and they skip wilayah. The hole that the Shias go into is, oh, I'll just have wilayat, I'll do matam with, blades or something like that. And then after that, oh, my fi'la khairat, no, inshallah, Allah will take care of that. My love of the Ahlul Bayt will be enough. We have hadith from the Imam that la yunala shafa'ati man yastadifu lis salat, man yastakhifu bis salat. That my shafa'at will not reach anybody who doesn't take his salat seriously. If a person thinks that, oh, I'm going to just trust that, mashallah, I'm going to just love the Imams and then take it easy on my salats and on my zakats and on my khums and on my this and on my that and not do any ibadat and not do any of the, and I'll be fine. This is opening a war with Allah. Allah is the one who told you to do it. The Imam is supposed to be guiding you to do it. How do you just love the Imam and you don't do the fi'l khairat? Sometimes we dunk on the Sunni brothers, be like, oh, you're refusing the Imam and so your salats are invalid because if you're praying and fasting all night and you lam ya'rif Imam zamanihi mata maytatan jahiliya. This is a Sunni and a Shia hadith. That if you die and you don't know the Imam zaman, knowing the Imam is not that, oh yeah, I know that it's Imam Ali. No, meaning that I am following the Imam zamanihi. That's what that he doesn't know that I'm in his taqleed. I'm doing what he says. Mata meta de jahiliya. Your actions could be had that. This is what when we said that, what was the problem with Iblis? It's not that he didn't know who Adam was. Oh, when they try to throw him in hell, he's like, no, no, no. Where's the checklist? Look, I know that it's Adam. No, it's not that way. He didn't accept him, meaning whoever dies and he doesn't give bay'ah to the Imam Zamani. And somehow people also think that somehow we cannot do bay'ah to the na'ib of the Imam, and then somehow that still counts for that. No, no, no. But when the Imam comes, trust me, I'll do it. Would that have been? We know that that wouldn't be successful. How many times the Prophet or the Imam would be in one city and the other person would be on the other side of the world, and he would have his representatives, the Abu Zars or the Salmans or the Malik Ashtars or something. Would it be like, was it jaiz for the people when Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr was in charge of Egypt? Could we be like, well, he's not Ma'soom, he's not Imam Ali, we don't accept? If Imam Ali comes, then we'll fight in the war. But if Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr gives us an order, we don't accept. We have there's a lot of the hadiths which also count for our ai The Prophet used to be like, if I give someone imamat and you don't obey him, you have disobeyed me. This is in Sunni hadith. If I put someone in charge and then I say this is person, and he says that today we do jihad, and you're like, no, I'm not really feeling it this day. But back to our issue of which we were mentioning with Wali al-Faqih. It's not dictatorship of the Faqih. Some people are like, no. No, the whole system, Imam Khamenei was explaining, the whole system where they have checks, they have balances, they have other ulama checking to confirm that the Wali al-Faqih is on the right path. If he acts up, then they can rein him in. Him actually running through the system of letting the people having a certain amount of leeway in their affair. The whole system is the system of wilayat al-faqih. Not just that one Tawhuti alim comes over and then he starts bossing everybody around. No, his job is to do guidance. He tells you, these are your lines. You go and do. And sometimes he says no. Sometimes he makes tashkhis al-mawdu. He says this specific. It's very interesting that Ayatollah Samata Sistani, they say that he doesn't really believe in Wali al-Faqih, but he gives wilayati orders. Like he says that now it's time for jihad. Can I go and be like, no, I'm actually not in his taqleed, so I'm going to sit at home, let ISIS rampage through. First of all, why was I letting ISIS rampage without, even if he gave the orders or didn't give the orders? this is ma'ruf. Like, I mean, there's kuffar rampaging through, killing everybody, burning down masajid, and they're like, if we get charged, we're going to burn down the maqam of Imam Husayn. I'm going to sit there and not do anything. I wonder if Ayatollah Sistani thinks we shouldn't. Of course, Ayatollah Sistani thinks we should stop these people from doing this. We should have gotten out there and done it without an order. But definitely if he gave an order. And then if he does give an order, I can't say, well, actually, I'm in the taqleed of Nasir Mukarram Shirazi. What, so then I'm going to so it's now jaiz to let the Qubbat of Imam Hussein get burnt to the ground because I'm in the taqleed of Nasir Mukarram Shirazi? I mean, sometimes we have to have some kind of aql about this thing. One of the ulama who's prominent, and we know that he's alim and arif and knows what's going on, gives the fatwa, and the rest of the ulama don't say anything, then that's the ruling. We don't have to come over and now, well, actually, I'm in the taqleed of, Bashir Najafi, and he hasn't really spoken out on that. No, he didn't say anything then. Okay, this is your ruling, go. Salih ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We have a hadith from Amir al-Mu'mineen. He's just talking about what's Iman. And he says, Iman is ma'rifah bil qalb, meaning that you know what's right in your heart. Wa iqrarun bil lisan, and you also say it. That's why we have the shahadatain. You're supposed to give the shahadatain, except for those who maybe for some reason, are in idrar of some kind. They can't say it out loud, taqiyya or something. They don't do it. Wa amalun bil arkan. This idea that you can sit there and just have good beliefs and then not do anything. This is how some of the other religions went and became gumrah, became dhaleen. They had good ideas, but they didn't actually do it. And it has effects. I think that's one of the things. Like Allah isn't giving us Allah's asking us to pray and asking us to fast and asking us to wear hijab if we're women, or if you're men, cover up certain amount and X, Y, and Z. All of these different rules and zakat and homes and all of these different things. Allah's not giving us busy work. I think that's very something important that we need to keep in mind. It's not that Allah is like, I wonder, he's got these humans sitting around, and if I leave them alone, they're gonna get up to no good. So let me just come over and be like, all right, guys, I just hand out some papers. Okay, draw a circle at the top and a stick at the bottom, and then draw a line through here and legs, and then mashallah. Oh, wait, dot, dot, eyes. Okay, well, okay, and you just keep you busy for 5 minutes, and nobody cares. Some of the kids who turn their work in late, and the teacher just throws it in the trash. No, it was just to keep you busy for 5 minutes so you don't bother me. We have to, Allah didn't create us abathan. If he said that we're supposed to do salat, and we're supposed to do zakat, and we're supposed to do hajj, and we're supposed to get married, and we're supposed to do this, and we're supposed to have homes, and we're supposed to be kind, and we're supposed to do amal bil ma'ruf, and we're supposed to do nahy anil munkar, we're supposed to do all of wah, because there's benefit for us and there's benefit for society. How we are able to do the right thing at the right time is when we have built up this. One is that besides its benefits for society, but also this ibadat is like working a muscle. Sometimes I remember they were trying to have these people were having the 99-cent protest in America. They were like, our government is zalim, and they're taking our money, and they're taking all of this would be like, now we have all these billionaires and bazillionaires and stuff like that. But it was bad even then. It's worse now. We need to do something about this. Okay, mashallah, do something. We should have protests. Okay, mashallah, have protests. And people asked me, they said, is this thing gonna work? I said, no, it's not gonna work. Why do you think it would work? They said, no, because we know what's right, we know what's wrong, we see this injustice, and mashallah, we move. I said, you don't have any spiritual work that you're doing. And so as soon as it gets hard, you haven't built yourself up. So when shaitan attacks you, and envy comes in, and hubba makan comes in, and hubba dunya comes in, and all of these type of things, jealousy comes in, and all of these things come, you have no defense for that. They were like, oh, you're just being negative and this, that, and the other. And sure enough, when they had the whole like Black Lives Matter, they started being envious and fighting amongst each other and stealing the amwal that the people gave to them and this, that, and the other. The whole thing that they had with this, they started fighting for positions and getting jealous of each other. And, the same fight for dunya, it just wasn't for money. Part of it, besides we give in zakat, it makes you, it helps society and this, that, and the other. But when is this tazkiyah to nafs? I know that Allah is the one who gave me this wealth. I'm able to give it easily away, and Allah can give me more. You think if these people in Kufa had been giving and giving and giving, when they started getting offered these measly bribes, would they have attacked Imam Husayn? They weren't giving them much. Like it's like everybody who comes and is in the army, because they can't give everybody who's in the army hundreds and thousands of dollars, because it's a huge army. You have 70,000 men, 40,000 men. Like everybody can't get a huge bag of silver. So everybody got two tumans or two dinars or something, like some measly money, which you probably could have stayed home and done work. It's like when these people do sins and stuff like now. I remember they had these people, they were drug dealers and things like that. When I was growing up, that was the big thing. They were like, you know what, don't have a real job, be a drug dealer. Okay, mashallah. Somebody decided to audit them and see how much you really made as a drug dealer. And they would go and be like, okay, you bought, $50,000 worth of cocaine and you sold it for $100,000, but then you had to pay the cops, $10,000 to, leave you alone, and you had to buy drug dealing cars and guns and ammo and whatever. I don't know. It's expensive, and pay lawyers and stuff like that to be a drug dealer. Like, it's not free. It's a small business. By the time they did it, you could have a regular job. You made more as a regular job. The same for these people who they fought with the Imam. They were like, oh yeah, we don't want to fight against Yazid, so we because we might get killed. They went and fought Hazrat Abbas and they got massacred that way. They probably would have been better off. The casualties would have been less. They went and they fought against Abbas and Husayn and Ali Akbar and they got massacred. Oh, we don't want to fight Imam Hussein because of, Hubbama. Oh, then you got a couple of dirhams, and then after that, Mukhtar came, burnt down the whole city. All of them got arrested, and they didn't even get the dunya. It wasn't even a good idea. But back to our point, that if you build, part of the doing the fi'l khairat is that you build yourself up and you're able to handle, you build up your soul so that when the stress is put on you, you're able to do the right thing. When you're able, I always use the whole resident alim because they have such little amount of wilayat. Like, oh, I think maybe we should serve the chai a little later because, some of the people are, upset. What are they really doing? But I'm like, it's training wheels wilayat. If you disobey, it's not that, now I executed the imam. You get some, but if you habituate yourself to it, then it's easy to do taqleed. If it's easy for you to do taqleed, then it's easy for you to listen to a wali al-faqih. If it's easy for you to listen to a wali al-faqih, then it's easy for you to obey the imam. But if you're like, oh man, this guy, he said, I don't know, what kind of sheikh is that? Not only does he not speak English that good, he also said, serve the chai at 10 and we all want it at 9:30. Let's get rid of that guy, get another guy. I remember my first experience with this was as a Sunni. We had a sheikh who the Arabs were always, they were like both like and dislike. They wanted someone who could speak English and Arabic because we would have a sheikh who could either speak English or we have a sheikh who could speak Arabic. So finally, mashallah, Allah yarzaqana with one sheikh who could speak English and Arabic. And his English was actually pretty good. So that was like, we were a really special masjid because usually you couldn't tell what they were saying. So he could actually speak and he could give the khutbah. He would give the khutbah in English, and instead of having a mutarjim, he would give the same khutbah again in Arabic. So he was the perfect sheikh in the community. Then he said, it's time for Salat al-Eid. And he was like, let's do it outside because it's more mustahab. It's like the sunnah in our fiqh and in their fiqh. And they said, no, astaghfirullah, how can you do that? We always do it inside. And, it's funny, the people who had the biggest problem, this was their ishkal. They said, the people are going to see our women. They said, how can we pray outside? Like, first of all, if it's the sunnah, that means the Prophet did it. And so, if they could see the Prophet's women, then they could see yours. How are you more mutadayyin? Then their wives didn't wear hijab, and second, they didn't pray. They used to just do Jummah. Like the ones who had the biggest, like the people who regularly came to the masjid and wives wore hijab, those ones were with the sheikh. The ones who their wives didn't wear hijab and they didn't pray, they were like, oh my God, we can't pray outside because people will see our women. Well, they could see them anyway, so what difference? They could see them doing something good, So they went and shouted and yelled and stuff like that and raised a hubbub until the sheikh finally had to back down. And then they kicked him out too and he got a different sheikh. Actually, they didn't get a sheikh. The guy they got as his replacement was a guy who had a liquor store. That was the guy who started. They kicked the sheikh out and the replacement was a guy with a liquor store. And oh my God, I remember we came by accident. We didn't realize the sheikh was gone. And he couldn't speak Arabic or English. So we really did this. But I mean, we shouldn't be surprised. These are people who were choosing this, that, and the other over. They would have Amir al-Mu'mineen right there in front of them. They would have Hassan and Husayn, and they were choosing all kind of other people, which we're not going to mention their names, but we could mention their sifat. And you're going for that kind of a downgrade? I mean, when you read Nahj al-Balagha, the khutbahs of Imam Ali, they were so beautiful. And then it's interesting. There aren't any khutbahs from any of the other khulafa, maybe a line or two, but not a khutbah. And it's not that the Arabs, if you said something beautiful, they would remember it because they have sometimes poetry from They have still poetry from like Abu Talib and things like that. So, meaning they would remember if you said something good. And they didn't, they must not have said anything very interesting. Please give us salawat. So now we are going to go to the story of Zainab bint Ali. Let's go to Karbala. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Zainab bint Ali, we know her as Ummul Masa'ib. She had some other names, which was Aqila, which is the wise one, Tahira, and Ummul Yatama, mother of the orphans. When she was born, Prophet Muhammad looked at her and started crying. And they asked her, "What are you crying about?" And she said she is going to go through so much hardship in her life. And the Prophet said, "What did you call her?" And Imam Ali said, "I couldn't go before you and give her a name." And Rasulullah said, "I can't go before Allah and give her a name." And then Angel Jibrail came and said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has named her Zainab because of her resemblance to Ali. She is the one of the Ahlul Bayt who witnessed the death of all of the other Ahlul Bayt. All of the people in the ayat of Tathir, all of the people in Hadith Kisa, all of the people of Mubahala, she witnessed their death. They say she was little and she had a terrible dream of a big tree that got pulled out of the ground and fell over. And she asked Rasulullah, she said, "My grandfather, I had a bad dream. What is this dream?" He said, "You're going to go through so many hardships." When Zainab was little, about 5 years old, the Rasulullah, he died. And she's intelligent, so she can tell that the people are disobeying his commands, mistreating her father, mistreating her mother, not showing up for the funeral of the Prophet. She is Akhila, she's aware of everything that they did and sees this tragedy. And it's worse for a baby because you know what's right and wrong. How can they do this to my grandfather, Rasulullah? And then after that, she saw what happened to her mother, Fatima. She saw how they mistreated her. She saw that they set her house on fire. She saw that they hurt her. She's witness to all of this, but what can she do? And Imam Husayn, he was very attached to his mother, Fatima. And when Fatima would cry, it would upset him. And when Fatima got injured, finally, bit by bit, the life was leaving her body. And Imam Hussein was upset, and she knew he would be upset. And she took the hand of Imam Hussein, and she took the hand of Zainab, and she put them together and said, "Alayki bin Hussein, take care of Hussein." She's 5, she's the younger, and she said, she will take care of you after me. And she saw how they mistreated her father for years and years and years, denying his right. They abandoned his father when they needed him most. They abandoned Hassan. Her father got killed in the masjid, and she cleaned the wound, she cleaned the blood from her father. And what is more hard than this? You lost your grandfather, you lost your mother, you lose your father now. And then now, after that, they mistreated Hassan, they abandoned him, they betrayed him. And you remember, she appreciates them. She knows their content. She knows how nice they are. She knows how much they know. She knows how much they help people. She sees how generous they are. They give you the shirt off your back. Someone come to the door, they give you everything they have. Finally, it was just her and Hussein. It's just her and Hussein. Even when she got married, she got permission that I get married, but with permission that I can stay with Hussein if he travels. She went to Karbala, and we see what happened on Karbala. Hussein was abandoned, and he was thirsty, and he was alone. But when you think about this, gonna hurt Zainab more because you're thirsty, you're alone, and you're watching these people abandon Imam. She's not thinking about herself, whether I'm gonna be alone and whether I'm gonna be all right. She's thinking, why are they doing this to the Imam? He's so righteous. He's so pure. He's so kind. He's given to everybody. He's mentioned in the Quran. Why are you so bad with him? What did he do? Why are you abandoning him? Why are you killing his friends? She has some hope. Why doesn't somebody come and help him? And she sees everything. She gives up her sons. Then they killed their mom. She's so upset. How can you do this to my brother? And now she has to be Umm Yatama. She has to be mother to the orphans of Hussein. She has to go collect the little girls. She has to go collect the little boys. She has to console the women. She has to be sabir. She has to be steadfast. She has to stand for Ali. She has to stand for Fatima. She has to stand for Hussein. She has to stand for Rasulullah because they aren't there. Someone has to speak now, and she's a shy person. It's a woman is shy. They don't like to be out in the open. And they stole their things. She stole their belongings. Things her mother had given her, things her father had given her. They stole it from her. You see your children crying. What can be more painful to a woman than to see their children cry? And the children are all crying. They're saying, where is my father? Where is Hussein? Where is Abbas? Where is Ali? Where is Asha? She has to be like, calm down. What can you say? It's not going to get better. There's not going to be a better day. Normally you say tomorrow's going to be better. Tomorrow's not going to be better. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون ألا لعنة الله على قوم الظالمين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا